morning and welcome to Gaga Knits. This is where I share my crafty week with you. Thank you for your comments and likes of last week's video and letting me know what you're working on. It's always nice to share my makes with you, but also nice to see what you're making too. I hope you've got a nice cup of tea. I have. It is Sunday the 14th of April and it has just gone 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm hopping on quickly to have a chat with you because everybody else is in bed and Jodie and Matthew and the boys are coming around later. So I didn't know when I'd get a good chance to have a quick chat. Sorry about the conservatory, it's all steamed up. It's quite cold outside. It looks like it's going to be a nice day today, which is very surprising for us. We had a lovely sunny day on Friday. And we're very lucky because Martyn and I were both off, so we went for a nice walk. And I'll put some photos at the end of the springtime coming to Wales. And then it poured down with rain again yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be a nice day again today. Us Brits are obsessed with the weather because it's so changeable. Anyway, let's get on with the crafting. Today I have 2 finishes, and I have a podcast to recommend, and also my next project is actually, I'm revisiting an old whip that has been inspired by the new podcast that I shall tell you about. So I'll just have a quick sip of my tea and we'll get on. Right, so my first finished object is here. And it's Charlie, my old English sheepdog. My youngest grandson, Jack, asked if we could have a Charlie dog for the Doll's House family. And Charlie was our old English sheepdog that very sadly passed away a couple of years ago, and Jack still talks about her. And when he stays here in the bedroom, we've got a picture of Charlie when she was a puppy, so we always have it. So we always have a little chat about her and things. So he wanted a little Charlie for the Doll's House. So this is Crocheted, and it's out of this book, Crochet a Farm by Megan Kreiner. And all these patterns are meant to be in DK. And I'm not a brilliant crocheter. I can do a blanket, but that's about it. So I have made several different little sort of animals and a Christmas elf and things like that, but I'm not very proficient. I do tend to get the stitch count wrong. But this was very enjoyable. So I made this in 4-ply, and I made it using a 2mm hook. So it was quite fiddly. And I showed you last week, I think she was complete. I don't know if she had her ears on, but I crocheted her body, and then I had to just sew on 2 little eyes. Now Charlie had a brown eye and a blue eye, so that's what this one's got. And then you have to do a little nose and a little sort of a line going down to the mouth. And then, very laboriously, you had to use strands of the grey and the white and use the crochet hook to thread them through and knot them and completely cover her body with those, which I did. And then you had to separate every individual strand to make them all frizzy and bushy. And then you had to trim her down to the side, trim her coat down to how you wanted it. So she's a bit, it's not perfect, but when Charlie used to have a haircut, it used to look a little bit like a scruffy teddy bear, so it's in keeping with her. Now she spent the weekend with the Doll's House family and she's settling in nicely, and she wanted for me to insert a few photos of her in her new home, didn't you? So I'll put those in and you can see her living with the Doll's House family. here a bit later. Put that away. That's the crochet book. So my second finish is Martyn's socks, and here they are, and they are the Vanilla Latte Socks by Virginia Rose Jeans, and I made it in the Drops Fabel Print 4-ply and the colourway 913, and I had a 50-gram ball that I wanted to make a pair of socks with. I didn't know if I could get a whole pair out of them. Martyn's a size 7, so I have washed and blocked them. These are my sock blockers, they're a size 5, so they're a little bit loose on the blockers. But I did manage to get a whole pair, as long as I used a contrast for the cuffs, heels and toes, out of my 50-gram ball. I had this much left. It's a bit like last week, playing the yarn chicken, and I weighed this on my kitchen scales, and again it didn't register as even 1 gram. So I shall add that tiny little bit into my crochet blanket as a memory of these socks, and he can have these now. It's a really nice pattern, and it's free on Ravelry. You get a choice of 3 different heels and 2 different toes. So I just chose the heel flat gusset. Can't really see because it's black. And the star toe, and I think there's a wedge toe, and for the heel it's the normal one, and what other ones were there? I'll have to look them up. You could have a plain stockinette, so you just knit a row and purl a row. Oh, I've never done that. I wouldn't have thought that would be very substantial for a heel. And then the slip stitch heel, and then the slip stitch rib, which is what I did, but I just call that a heel flap and gusset, and the eye of partridge heel. So all on a free pattern. I think that's very good. And you just do a 2x2 rib, and basically this is knit 6, purl 2, and the next row knit, and then you do that down the foot but not underneath. Although on one of the feet, we were watching telly the other night, and the evenings, it was still a bit dark, and there are the odd, you can't really see, but there are the odd 2 purls that I obviously wasn't concentrating properly, but Martyn won't notice that. Oh, I'm gonna have another sip of tea. Don't know about you, but I always like to drink my tea hot. Right, I'll go back to my podcast notes. They're my 2 finishes, and then I want to tell you about a new podcast I found. I don't tend to watch a lot of television anymore. Now I found YouTube, and all you lovely crafty people, I watch crafty videos. And something popped up in my feed the other day, a new podcast, and it's called Knitting with Betty, and she has done 4 episodes now, and she is really lovely. She is a vintage inspired knitter, and she's only young. I think she must be in her 30s, and she sits in a corner of her bedroom with a nice cup of tea in a little cup and saucer, and she is perfectly turned out in her vintage look. She's got nice a set hair, a nice makeup, and always wears her beautiful vintage makes, and she's just really nice to watch. It'd be lovely if you could pop over. I will leave a link and watch her videos. I think you'd like them too, even if you don't wear vintage. I don't wear vintage. I sometimes make the odd garment, or the one I'm going to show you now is vintage inspired, but it doesn't mean you can't wear it in a more modern way. But it is her videos are really nice, and she has got some little dachshund dogs, and you sometimes see those, and she has little clips of her maybe walking in her village. I think she lives in quite a rural area, and she also goes to a farm that does craft workshops and things like that, and she puts a little bit of footage of that in. And as I say, she's only done 4, so I'm looking forward to watching more of her videos. So it'd be nice if you could go along and support her, and she could get a few more subscribers, because that's always nice, isn't it, to see your subscriber count going up. And that leads me on to my latest work in progress, which was an old WIP that I had left for a while. 2 reasons. More because it's a spring-summer knit, and I think I stopped working on it in the winter, and also because it is meant to be knit in the flat, and for some reason I got to the sleeves and I started making them in the round. I think it was because I was using a circular needle, and usually I like this. I'm wearing my Georgetown again because it's so warm and cosy. This was not in the round, but you knit the front and the back all as one piece, and then you knit the sleeves in the round. So I'm so used to doing that now. It was such a great discovery when you could knit things in the round and not pieced. But so that's why I think I started knitting the sleeves in the round, and then I just put it to one side. But a very nice viewer at the time commented and told me how I could get around it, that I can carry on knitting the sleeves in that way and still seam the rest of the body up, and it would be fine. I should tell you what the pattern is, shouldn't I? So it's the Poppy Jumper by Susan Crawford. And I was watching Betty's, all her lovely vintage knits, and I thought, oh, when I finish these projects, I'm going to get this out and finish it, because I have done the whole of the front with the colour work, and I've blocked it, and I've done the whole of the back as well. And this is on the needles. The ribbing is 2.75 and the body is 3mm needles, and it's 4-ply yarn, so that's quite a lot of work in that. And so then I started on the sleeves. I'm using King Cole Merino Blend 4-ply for this, and this was because I saw a lady on Instagram had made a jumper in this, not this, I think it was the vintage, the rainbow jumper, the JoJo jumper that lots of people knit, and I think it was that one, and she had these colours and they were so nice. I messaged her and asked would she mind sharing what the yarn was so that I could get it for this. So this is biscuit, I think, the main colour. Yeah, the neutral is biscuit. And then I've got a dark brown, a light pink, a dark pink, and a green. And they're just so lovely together. Really pleased with that. And you are supposed to do it on the back as well, but I didn't. I'd had enough by then, so I just did a plain back, because they are usually plain on the back. And I did work on this a little bit last night, so I have made a little bit more progress on the sleeve. Now it is short sleeved, and I had intended as well to lengthen them, but as it was cuff up, I cast them on and I totally forgot about that, so that would be too wide for a wrist. So I'm just going to make it a bit longer, because I think it finishes about here, and I'd rather it finish sort of at my elbow. So that's the first sleeve. I had done the rib and just done a few rows when I stopped it all that time ago, so I'm going to carry on with that. I've only got that sleeve and the other one, stitch them up and then do the neck, and it's finished. So I won't be finished by next week, but within the next few weeks, and then I should be able to wear it. So that's everything I've been doing this week. Some weeks I don't seem to have any finishes, and then they all come together, because a week isn't really all that long, is it, when you work and when you have the evenings. And although I'm part-time, I have to pop and see my mum, and I'm also popping to see a neighbour because her husband sadly passed away last 2 months ago, so she's needing a little bit of support. She don't really get all that much time. And the boys, like I say, are coming over later, so Jack and Charlie can make acquaintance. I don't know if he's going to let her stay in the doll's house or if he'd like to take her home, because my daughter has already left a comment on my last video saying she wants me to make her a Charlie for her house. And she said that because she mentioned it on a comment on one of my videos, I won't be able to say no, but I can say no. No, not making another one. Very fiddly. So we'll all have to share this Charlie here. There she is. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you're working on. Always like to look them up. And thank you to everyone who watches, likes, comments, subscribes. It means a lot. All that's left now are the couple of photos that I took of the blossom and everything bursting into life on our nice walk in the park on Friday. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!